You ever seen a judge demand a black woman sing in court? Like it's some damn minstrel show from the 1800s? Yeah, that happened. And it didn't happen in some backwoods town with no internet or cameras. Nah, this was real life, broad daylight, in a courtroom with marble floors, fluorescent lights, and a live stream cam rolling the whole time. That woman's name was Danielle Monroe, 28 years old, school librarian, calm as still water, until the system decided to break her. The judge? Harlan Crane, old white man with the kind of face that looks like it's been sour since the Civil War ended. He ran courtroom 2B in Greenville County like it was his personal plantation, his rules, his gavel, his twisted sense of justice. And folks around there, especially black folks, they knew better than to speak up. Now let me back up a sec. It all started with a traffic ticket. Yeah, I know. Crazy, right? Danielle got pulled over for rolling through a stop sign. Only problem? That stop sign hadn't been there in months. Construction took it down. There were orange cones and everything. But that didn't matter to the cop who gave her the ticket, or to Judge Crane, who saw her name on the docket and licked his lips like he'd just found a new chew toy. The morning of her court date, Danielle walked in wearing a navy blouse and black slacks. Professional, modest, nothing flashy. Her hair was in soft twists, pulled back from her face, not a single strand out of place. She walked like she belonged there, because she did. But that courtroom? It wasn't built for people like her. The moment she stepped in, the energy shifted. The judge's assistants exchanged glances. A few court watchers smirked. You could feel it, that slow, creeping buzz of, "This is going to be fun," humming in the air. Judge Crane sat back in his chair, fingers laced, eyes cold and unblinking. "Miss Monroe," he said, dragging her name like a curse, "do you know why you're here today?" Danielle didn't flinch. "Yes, Your Honor. I'm contesting a traffic citation issued in error." Crane raised one bushy eyebrow. "In error, huh? We'll see about that." She presented her evidence, photos, timestamps, witness testimony from the neighbors showing the stop sign was gone. She even had the city's own maintenance log confirming the removal. Ironclad. But Judge Crane wasn't there for justice. He was there for entertainment. He leaned forward, that smug grin crawling across his face. "You're quite the storyteller, Miss Monroe," he said. "Let's see how good your performance really is." Danielle blinked. "Excuse me, Your Honor?" He banged his gavel once. The sound echoed. "Stand up." The room froze. "Sing," he said. "Since you're so good at spinning tales, sing us a little something. Think of it as part of your testimony." A low gasp rippled through the courtroom. One woman dropped her pen. Even the bailiff shifted uncomfortably. Danielle stood there, stiff as a tree. You could see the color drain from her face, then rush back in the form of pure, burning shame. But you know what? She didn't run. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She asked one question, voice steady. "You want me to sing, Your Honor?" Crane smirked. "That's right. Show us what you're made of." And boy, he wasn't ready for the answer. Danielle closed her eyes for half a second. Just half. When she opened them, something was different. Like every ounce of history, every buried pain, every church song passed down through generations had settled behind her gaze. And then she began. Amazing Grace. Soft at first, barely above a whisper. But the notes carried. They moved through the room like smoke. Thick, haunting, undeniable. Her voice wasn't trying to impress. It was trying to tell the truth. "I once was lost, but now am found." By the second line, the courtroom was silent. Even the stenographer had stopped typing. A tear slid down the face of an older black man sitting in the back row. Crane looked shaken. He shifted in his seat like the air had gotten too tight around him. His smugness? Gone. Replaced with something close to fear. Danielle didn't look away. She sang right to him, like the hymn was a mirror, and he was finally being made to see himself. Was blind, but now I see. When she finished, you could hear a pin drop. She sat down, calm, composed. "You asked me to sing," she said, "so I did." Crane tried to recover, cleared his throat like it would bring the room back under his command, but that courtroom didn't belong to him anymore. That moment, it belonged to her. By that afternoon, a local reporter named Julian Grant had written an article, "Librarian Silences Racist Judge with Defiant Song." He was sitting in the courtroom that morning, didn't expect to write anything more than a blurb, but what he witnessed? That turned into something else entirely. The story went viral. Twitter blew up. Instagram reels of her song spread like wildfire. TikTok had edits, remixes, breakdowns. The internet saw her, and they heard her, but not everyone was clapping. That night, Danielle got a letter slipped under her door, unsigned, typed in all caps. It said, "You made trouble where there wasn't any. Watch yourself." She didn't sleep that night, but she didn't stop either. The next morning, civil rights attorney Mira Delgado, sharp as a whip and just as fast, reached out, said she'd seen the clip, read the report, and wanted to help. Within days, they filed a formal complaint against Judge Crane with the State Judicial Review Board. And guess what? Turns out Danielle wasn't the only one. Testimonies poured in. Black and brown folks from all over the county shared stories of Crane's bias, of missing evidence, harsh sentences, courtroom humiliations. Even one of Crane's own clerks submitted a report anonymously detailing years of inappropriate conduct. The courthouse, once quiet and orderly, became a hot zone. Protesters gathered outside with signs like "Justice for Danielle" and "No more Crane games." TV crews showed up. National outlets ran segments. Judge Crane's face was everywhere, but not in the way he liked. Still, he tried to cling to his power. He held a press conference, tight suit, tight jaw, claiming the accusations were politically motivated and that he'd always upheld the law with integrity. But behind him, his staff looked like they'd rather be anywhere else. Eventually, the state launched a full investigation, and when the hearing came, the tables had turned. Crane sat at the defense table, pale and hunched, no longer towering over anyone. Witness after witness testified, former defendants, public defenders, clerks, all painting the same picture. A judge who abused his power, especially when black lives were involved. Then Danielle spoke, and when she did, the room held its breath. She didn't raise her voice, didn't shout. She just told the truth about that day, that courtroom, that moment he tried to turn her dignity into a joke. "If singing for my dignity was disruptive," she said, "maybe it's the system that needs fixing." When she finished, even the board members looked stunned. By the end of the hearing, the verdict was clear. Judge Crane was unfit to serve. He resigned before they could strip him publicly. But the story didn't stop there. Danielle went on to start an organization, Echo Rising, to help others speak up against systemic injustice. She held workshops, gave talks, mentored young activists. She turned her pain into purpose. And one day, just a few months later, she stood on the steps of the state capitol, crowd buzzing in front of her, cameras flashing, and said, "What started in one courtroom turned into something bigger. We proved one voice can echo." Now some folks say she disrupted the peace, others say she brought justice. But what do you think? Was Danielle out of line? Or did she do what had to be done? Let us know down in the comments. Was that justice, or just the beginning? And if you believe one voice can change everything, don't forget to share this story. Because the next time someone tells you to sit down and stay quiet, you might just want to sing.